Slobodno.
Ono što me zanima je posle što se tiče kasnije šetninga bi ostati ili tako?
Pa najvjerojatnije nećemo dugo ostati.
Nećete dugo ostati?
Nećemo dugo.
Što? Hvala.
Obaveze.
Naravno.
Okay.
Može.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is our great pleasure to be here today in front of you. My name is Maša Sretenović, this is Katarina Mirković, and today we will present you how we merged the emerging trend in education combined with the software developing technology that is the latest in the market, and all that in the testing application called YouTestMe. So we are from Malok company, which is situated in Toronto, Canada, and this is a software developing and consulting business, and it is been in the business for over 20 years. And these are some of our clients, such as Citibank, Royal Bank, General Electric, and so on. So today we will go through some introduction, research that we have conducted, and something about our application, which is our goal today. So some predictions say that by 2019, 50% of all courses will be taught online. And something to back up this prediction is the fact that in the past 4 years, there has been a leap of 25% in online enrollment, which only claims that this trend will continue further on. Katarina will tell you something more about our researches.
We have conducted numerous researches throughout the years, and the first group of those are the researches that as a subject have students and professors. Why? Well, we wanted to see from their perspective how to improve distance and speed testing. The results were the following. For professors and teaching assistants, they are swamped with numerous tests daily, and they do not have enough time to do the printing, examining, and evaluating. It takes too much time from their precious day. When it comes to students, they wish to test knowledge before the actual exam, so they can have, let's say, input in what their knowledge is at the moment, and they value real-time results, which means that they want to have results instantly. On the other hand, we have researches that as a subject have technologies that are used for e-learning and testing softwares also and applications. And the results are that the technologies are outdated, and the biggest problem is that they are very difficult to adjust to numerous innovations at the time. Masha will now tell you something more about how we filled in the gap that we found in these researches and how we will meet the innovation and develop the best possible testing application.
Thank you. So firstly, before we go through that, this is a brief view of how our application actually looks like. This is the front page. And the next page presents the user panel, which is also provided by the application that you can be a professor, student, or administrator. So core of our software is web user interface, then quiz generator and reporting engine that you will hear all about in the next couple of minutes. So our developers throughout those 20 years of business have came up with a perfect mix of the developing tools. I will not bother you now with details, but they are all combined to provide easier development, easier maintenance, and also easier manipulation of structure and data. And also they are very suitable for a large number of users and also features. So this is what we have implemented into our application based on these experiences. That is there for sure. Question pool. This is something that I would really like to emphasize, a feature. Question pools are knowledge databases where a professor can store all the questions that he have ever created, presented in a test, or he would like to put, and in this way he stores it in his database. So how do you fill in? Firstly, you enter a new question. Then there is a defined type of question tab, which can offer you that question is single answer, multiple answer, true, false, match, essay, numerical, whichever kind is necessary. And the third part is define the level of difficulty. This is an innovation when it comes to criteria, and it's very useful once you want to generate the test. So the level of difficulty can be easy, medium, hard, and advanced. Further, you choose a question pool or create a new pool, and what is also very handy to predefine the number of points. So later when the test is generated, you can really speed up the process. What is also interesting is that these question pools from the educator can be also allowed to other users, such as their teaching assistants or even students, to access either by read-only or to modify if necessary. And also importing data from spreadsheets is something that we've developed so the user does not have to manually input all the data that he maybe already has in some databases. This is how you would use a question pool. So these are question pools and disposable number of easy, medium, hard, and advanced questions that professor chooses himself. And question cutoff date is designed to prevent questions from repeating, and the professor has the control of which questions he wants to present. So if the question was in last exam, this option will stop it from repeating. This is something about creating the test. Now, Katerina.
Considering the nature of our application, that it is totally customizable, there are numerous ways of creating a test. The first way is to enter new questions manually. That means that your test will be generating from all new questions, and let's say 100% of questions will be new ones. But on the other hand, you can generate the test automatically by using criteria or without criteria. We will tell you something more about generating the test with criteria because that is a special feature of our application. Also, you can mix the manual and automatical test generating, which means that you can, for example, enter 2 new questions and use 18 questions from some existing question pools or whatever. And at the end, if you don't have enough time, you can use previously created tests and they will be sent to the students immediately within seconds. Now, as I already said, it is important just to say something more about creating the test by using criteria. First, you choose a question pool or pools from which you want to generate your questions. Afterwards, you define the number of easy, medium, hard, or advanced questions. What does that mean? For example, if you want in your test 5 easy questions, 6 medium questions, and 2 difficult ones, you can just enter that, and from those pools, the application will just generate those questions. You can also use some different criteria, such as last occurrence or frequency of questions, and Masha already mentioned. If the questions were on tests recently, you can choose not to use those questions. Also, you define the number of points for each question you want to appear on the test. And that is an interesting thing, because when you enter a new question in the pool, you define the number of points, for example, 2 points. But later on, if you want that question in your test, you can change the number of points. It can now be worth, let's say, 3 points, 4 points, whatever you want. It is totally customizable. And after that, you define the scale for auto-grading. For example, from 51 till 60 points, it is a mark 6. From 61 till 70 points, the mark will be 7, and so on. You also choose what will appear to the student as a result. Let's say number of points on the test, or the grade, or the feedback, or mixture of these. That is on the professor. At the end, the test is being sent to the students that are selected. And also there can be sent a PDF file, or they can be automatically printed. It just depends on the professor's preferences at the moment. Now, it is important to mention courses and classes. What are those? Let's say that it is the best way to explain that through an example. A course is, let's say, financial management, and the classes are groups of students, A1, A2, A3. And we can mix and match those and connect them in different ways. For example, we can connect one class to one course. Let's say we here took an example of, let's say, case study competitors, which are advanced students, and we can connect them to an advanced course. On the other hand, we can connect more classes to one course or more courses to one class. It only depends on the professor. Here is just how the course panel looks like. And now Masha will tell you something more about evaluating.
Yes. So evaluating is one more feature and one more activity that we wanted to automate and to make it easier for the educators. So the application does the summarizing, calculating of numbers of points automatically. But if your test has included essay questions or feeling questions that the application cannot evaluate it itself, then there is a step in between where the professor is evaluating manually this question, entering the number of points, and then the application is doing the automatic summary and the grading, which is based on the predefined scale that Katarina was mentioning. So the application will know to fit every student in his grade. And later on, these results are being displayed to professors, students, or both. It's also depending on the professor's preference. And what is also very useful, that class performance statistics, that professor can get which questions had the most correct answers, which ones had the least correct answers, then the average time of completion, and this is also very good for the professor because he can then evaluate his own test. He gets in this way feedback from the students. For example, how difficult was the test if the average time of completion was very low, and so on. And then there is also full emailing support, so all the notifications can be sent to students' email, such as their results, such as invitations for them to take the exam, and so on.
When we talk about time features of the test taking, a professor can just set the exact time, the exact date, the expiration time of the test. On the other hand, he can also choose undefined duration, which means if, for example, he sets that the test starts at 10 a.m., it will not have a defined duration. So it's all up to professor. What does that mean? That means that there is no need for personal control of test taking. Professor doesn't have to be at his computer at the moment when the test will start. Everything is automatized. So he can arrange the test to start in a month, in a particular day, in a specific hour. Now something more about the effects.
Okay, so what was our idea? We wanted to literally go through professor's process when he's creating the exam manually. So he will pay attention to a difficulty of questions. He will want certain number of questions to be harder, to be the ones who will define 9 and 10, for example. He would then think of obligatory questions. He would think of when was the last time that question appeared. So all of these functions is something that defines a good test and a good way of testing. And also, you may know that for every test, professors must make several groups of the same difficulty for the same test. And in this way, if you define those criteria to be the same, then you get different questions, but the level of difficulty is exact and it is same. And also, of course, accurate evaluation, which is very important, that we enabled with this in-between step for open questions, or just automatically to sum everything based on the correct answers. And all of this we wanted to preserve and to make it automatical, to make it very fast and to make it easier for the professor to conduct the testing. And now benefits.
There are benefits for both parties, for educators and students, but first we will go through benefits for educators. As we already said, there is easy administration of courses and classes. They can create ad hoc tests or tests created for each student in particular in just seconds. Testing, evaluating, creating the test itself, it only takes seconds now. Of course, one of the most important features of our application is that there is a personal knowledge database. All the questions are stored in different pools and sorted and waiting for another moment in the future to be used. So professor doesn't have to think backwards. At the end, the application becomes professor's, let's say, personal assistant. It does almost everything for him. When it comes to students, they have the opportunity to test their knowledge before the exam. It can be in different ways. For example, a professor can allow a student to access some of professor's pools and choose questions from those pools and get prepared for the exam. On the other hand, if that is not the case, student can create its own question pool and choose questions from those pools and generate a test that will look the same as the one that will be in the future. Of course, not with the same questions. At the end, The point is they also have their personal knowledge database, and the interaction between professor and student is much better.
And now to sum everything up, we have started from some trends and some facts that we have identified, and we have seen the increased number of distance students. And we wanted to answer to that trend with those question pools, with those disposable knowledge databases that they can approach whenever from wherever they are. Secondly, there is a need for more interaction between students and professors, and we have encouraged that through a possibility of frequent testing without this tiring factor of evaluating, creating, and all of those. And third, it is hard to adjust the outdated testing softwares that they are present in the market. And with our GDAO technology, which is personal technology invented by the company, our application is completely open for innovations and to be adjusted to any system. And then there is this significant time spent on managing test-related activities that we have already spoken, I think, quite a lot about. And at the end, as we all know, this is why you're all here, there is a large percentage of institutions already using distance learning and online learning. And how we wanted to answer to this fact, we have designed this application to be complementary with any distance, with any learning management system, which means it does not have to replace it. This is an application which is designed to improve and to enhance and to serve for all of the interested parties in their greatest benefit. So with this, we would conclude, I think, today's presentation. So thank you for your attention, and we are very welcoming your questions now, if there is any.
Thank you very much, girl. This really looks like fulfillment of every teacher's dream. However, I'm teaching mathematics, and lots of my questions include very nasty formulas and even more nasty diagrams. So how can I put that through your system?
Firstly, we have shown you the first base, the first level application. We have in plan more, and whichever request you would need, it would be possible from our developers to develop. In this specific way now, with this stage of our application, there are open questions, there are essay questions, and you can leave them to be, in a way, evaluated by you, since the application would probably not understand the diagrams, but all in all, it is possible in the future, if your request is like that, to adjust it.
Export.
You said in the beginning that the company you work for is situated in Canada, and as Canada is also a country where there are multiple languages spoken, I assume that the system will also support multiple languages, which is, I think, in a European context quite important. So can you say something
Yes,
about that?
definitely. It is totally adjustable to any language. It is designed in that way. So it can be adjusted to any language.
It can be adjusted to a language, but can it also be
Yes,
include
translated.
questions in, so the same question in several languages? Or
Yes, it is possible to make, it depends. The application can be done in one language and the questions will follow. So it is as she said, there is a phase 2 that we can adjust that for questions to be translated into some other language. So if that is...
Can you say us about communication with other systems? Because you said that the application is open, and my question is, are you support any standard question format like QTI, or can you export questions from your tools in some other standard formats?
Yes, thank you. Yes, we do support both import and export questions, and it can be suitable for, as I already mentioned, existing learning management systems. So it can be adjusted. It can be you can export the questions, you can import the questions because it supports also data from spreadsheets. They can work in this way, and also if I'm answering your question right. Thank you.
So you were speaking about learning management system. For example, we are using Moodle. But is it possible? Is it integrated? Can we integrate it to Moodle, like creating formulas or questions in Moodle, or we have to prepare the question outside and then export and then import in Moodle?
It is possible to be related to Moodle. And sorry, what was you asked about importing questions from Moodle?
It's possible to create the questions or formulas in Moodle, directly in Moodle.
Yes, I think I would have to ask our developer because he's present there to answer us.
Well, if I can answer from here, but right now we don't have that possibility. The only possibility there is to export to spreadsheets and read them from spreadsheets. That's the possibility for import, export. You know, that's for now. So any new ideas are welcome, but you know, there is time for that.
The great thing about this is that this is a testing platform that is made like that, so this is why we're all the time mentioning customizable and adjustable, because it is not developed to be just for one standard or for one learning management system. It is like that designed so it can be adjusted for different user systems, sizes, whatever.
You said that you tested your application, the integration of another learning management system. I want to know which learning management system you tested that. You can upgrade it.
I'm sorry that we didn't understand quite well. We didn't test that at a particular system, but it is, let's say, the thing that we said here, it is already done. But there is also a phase 2, because it is possible for, if let's say you want to implement this, we can customize it at any level you want. So it is possible to try out anything. Our developers are open. So.
Did you use some already done learning management system and integrate it with your application?
No, we have.
No, at the moment, no. Yes.
Okay, some more questions? Feel free. No? So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.